Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report with Dom and Charles. Dom, what a great day.
What a great day, yes. Look, Australia announced, I think, $111 million for Ukraine to help them fight Russia off. But we also defeated Russia ourselves in a very intense stoush in the High Court.
Oh, really?
Yeah, involving Australia's lamest squad. We'll get to that.
Yes, okay. And got a great news for anyone who's teetering on the brink of homelessness.
Oh, brilliant, because it's really tough out there.
Which is that it's solved. The whole problem is solved.
No one's been able to solve that for millennia.
Yes.
And it's finally been solved.
It's solved, yeah.
What an amazing bit of news. Plus, this will cheer everyone up. For the first time, a news poll shows that the no case for The Voice is outpolling the yes case.
Well, at least that'll give everyone something more to fight for, I suppose. So.
They'll have to, is what it's saying, yeah. All of that after this. Now, Charles, let's start with something exciting, though, because it has been a bit bleak in recent weeks on the pod.
Yes.
Homelessness, though, is solved at last. I mean, I hoped that with all the billions of dollars we spent on things like submarines, housing people who need a house might fit in there too, and it sounds like we've got it sorted out.
No, it's good now. Look, I'm not totally across all the details.
Right.
But Prince William has announced that he is going to solve homelessness.
Seriously?
Yes, which I assume, I haven't read the details, but I assume he's joined the Greens.
Right,
and
of course.
He and Max Chandler Mather are going to team up. They're going to put some caps on rentals, all that sort of stuff. And presumably Prince William's going to donate all the billions of dollars he's inherited following,
because he's Prince of Wales now. He's got the estate. The Wales estate is massive.
Presumably he's donating that to some sort of long-term solution so that homelessness across the Commonwealth can be solved forever.
Yeah, look, Max Chandler Mather's probably got him to agree to the rent freeze, and given the sheer amount of property that the Duchy of Cornwall, from what I understand, one of his many estates owns, that would make a massive difference if he just forwent a bit of rent himself. Good on him.
But I think this is very shrewd politics from the Greens, and you don't usually associate that with the Greens.
No, that's not normally their thing.
But, like the Greens have been blocked by Labor saying, no, you can't put a rent freeze on. That would be far too radical.
They say it'll wreck the market, Labor will.
And they've even stopped the Greens from wanting to sort of change the way that $10 billion fund is distributed.
They have, yeah.
And so to sort of go above elbows head and go, well, I'm not going to deal with the mere Prime Minister of Australia.
I see. This is very clever.
But instead go, who's higher up the constitutional rung? The Royals. Let's cut a deal with them. Shows just how pragmatic the Greens have become nowadays.
And so devoted to democracy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that this is the thing. They're not letting, the perfect way would be to let democracy play out.
Yes.
But they're not letting perfect be the enemy of good anymore.
Amazing.
They're becoming stouch monarchists.
They're letting royalty be the enemy of democracy.
I presume the deal is that the Greens now have to back in the monarchy.
Yeah, of course.
I think if that solves homelessness, I think that's a good compromise.
I mean, when I read the headline, Charles, that Prince William wanted to solve homelessness, I thought, my goodness, he's going to give up his title and get elected.
Yes.
That's the way you would implement a policy. But no, apparently he doesn't feel he needs to do that to make fundamental societal changes.
Yeah. So, look, I'll do a little bit more research over the coming hours and I'll get back to you if things change. But I think just assume for now that if you're in any sort of trouble housing-wise...
just write to Prince William.
Yeah, and I think probably just stop paying your rent because, I think rents are going to be a thing of the past.
He'll intercede on your behalf, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, he has so much property himself. Just imagine how many thousands of people he could have just squatting on the lawn, just in tents. And any one of his many properties, that'd be absolutely fine.
Well, I think that's the whole way he makes money, isn't it?
Sure.
There's like tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people who pay him rent each year.
There definitely would be. Yeah, that's sure. He can just forgo their rent and just let everyone else in. Even the car parks at Windsor Castle, if they just open them up.
Yes.
Why is it taking them so long, arguably?
I know. It's really good.
Good on you, Your Royal Highness. That's brilliant.
Yep.
If that's what you're actually doing. And if it's just some sort of bullshit aspirational statement, like, his moonshot prize thing that he has. It wouldn't be that.
It wouldn't be that.
It wouldn't be just getting up and sort of making some vague, unconstitutional comment about just wanting to do something good and then not doing it, not following through.
Right. Yeah. Look, I'm just looking at the details here. Apparently he and his wife are donating £500,000 to a charity
Oh my goodness, that's
that wants to solve homelessness.
that's nearly $1 million Australian dollars. That would buy half of a house in Sydney.
You know that it's actually less than £2 per homeless person in the UK. There are 270,000 households who do not have a home in Britain at the moment. So he's giving basically £1.70 per household
I see what he's
to
done.
solve homelessness.
I see what he's done. He says he wants to end homelessness.
Oh, it's wants
Not
to.
that he will.
Oh, no.
I'd love to be able to end homelessness. I'd love to be able to just accommodate you all in my many hundreds of thousands of hectares.
Yes.
But instead, I'm just going to buy you one coffee.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'd like to make an announcement as well, Dom.
Oh, yeah,
Which
please.
is I've solved bad sex.
Have you?
Yes, I've solved bad sex.
Someone had to do it.
No, anyone having sex with me from now on will not have bad sex anymore.
Is it that you will or is it that you want to not have bad sex?
It's an aspiration, Dom, and that's enough. That's enough. I will donate £1.70 to any woman who has
How's this
sex with
analogy
me
going to go?
to solve the bad sex problem.
Charles,
the scourge.
Congratulations on finding a way to make Prince William look less ridiculous by comparison and genuinely helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
You had to make it about you having sex. Yeah. The Prince Andrew approach. So to speak. Wonderful. Well, let's move on to Australia's lamest squatter. Now, look, while the conflict is going on with Australia and Ukraine, we're practically at war with Ukraine, but
Yes.
it's not declared. We've spent $111 million we're giving to Ukraine. We've already given them all those vehicles and so on. Just today, as Albo announced, extra funding for Ukraine.
Right, yeah.
But there's another little battle that's been going on in Canberra where all the pissiest battles take place.
Oh, no.
Basically, what happened was Russia had the rights to build a brand new embassy right next to Parliament, basically.
Oh.
So they were going to construct a new building uncomfortably close to the Parliament.
Yes,
And
right.
Australia, what with almost being at war with them, thought, not such a good idea.
Yes.
We will terminate your lease of this land for your new embassy.
Yes.
And so what Russia did, they decided to do two things.
They decided, A, to invade Crimea.
Well,
Yeah.
they actually did invade. What they did was...
What did they do?
Yes, they sent
Oh, really?
a diplomat. I'm going to show you a photo of the guy. It's a sort of middle-aged, pudgy guy in a beanie. What they did was they put a demountable on the site, and this guy has been sitting there. He was in a puffer jacket in a Canberra winter, sleeping inside a demountable building.
Mind you, that's a Russian summer.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Only a Russian could sleep in a Canberra winter in an unheated building. And so this guy has diplomatic immunity, right? So the concept was that he was having a sit-in. It was like the pissiest possible version of the tent embassy.
Yes.
It was the demountable embassy.
Yes.
And Russia's thought was, look, if this guy's here, they can't kick us off the land.
But why not? Why couldn't they just...
Because you can't move him. He's got diplomatic immunity. It's like when you park a car, you can't give it a parking ticket.
But how did
do
he
anything?
How did he go to the toilet?
Well, it was a demountable. He probably had a portaloo.
Oh.
And then they went, so that was happening.
That's sort of
But
genius.
Then, right, it is, isn't it? It's pretty, I mean, normally they use tanks for that sort of manoeuvre, but just a bloke in a red beanie is what they did. It's sort of the lame Canberra version.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, they went to the High Court and tried to stop Australia cancelling its lease, even though the Australian government passed emergency legislation to do this, to cancel the lease, saying national security. Justice Jane Jago has not allowed Russia to have an injunction, basically to stop Albo cancelling the lease. She said that the arguments were weak,
Right.
placed by Russia. So it was about the same level as their arguments to Ukraine. There will still be a full court case later.
Yeah, right.
But basically, the guy's gone home.
He's gone home.
They got rid of the guy in the beanie.
Ah, right.
He's gone home. Yeah. He may come back later. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Or some sort of mercenary version that will come back.
Well, they'll probably come
later.
back with tanks.
Yeah,
that's
right.
what they'll do. Diplomatic immunity tanks. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you put diplomatic plates on a tank, Charles, it's a quirk in international law. I don't know why they didn't do that for Ukraine. If all those tanks had diplomatic plates, Ukraine would have had to just wave them through. Because you can't get a parking ticket if you're in a diplomatic vehicle. It's an amazing perk. You can park anywhere. All those UN ambassadors in New York City just put their cars anywhere they want.
I feel like there must be some sort of pissy little Pacific island that, doesn't have long to last.
Nauru.
That would probably be up for selling off diplomatic license
That's
plates.
Can you try and get a diplomatic status?
I'm going to have a ring around.
Because if we imagine the stunts the chaser could pull
Yes.
with complete diplomatic immunity.
Yeah. Mind you, you don't even need proper diplomatic.
That's true.
You
They haven't tended to stop us in the past.
just make them up.
Ironically, the building right next door to the site of the Russian embassy, the Chinese embassy. So there's already a Chinese embassy also uncomfortably close to Parliament House. So they've cancelled one lease, but the other one, the horse is bolted. So well done, past governments, for letting that one get through.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny because there's also the ASIO building, which is just across the road from Parliament House. I don't know whether you know that yarn, but it's a great yarn, which is they built it. This is under sort of hockey. Joe
I remember
Hockey
they spent a lot of money on a new ASIO building.
Yeah, it was like hundreds of millions of dollars. And then they realised that one of the contractors worked for China or something. And
they had to undo it all.
well, they realised that there was no way they could tell whether it hadn't been compromised or not.
Amazing.
And given that it was ASIO that was supposed to go there, they went, oh, no, it was not even ASIO. It was the Direct Signals Directorate, the DSD.
Oh, which is the
tapping
internet
organisation.
hacking one.
Yeah, it's like literally the one that you
the one that you wouldn't want them to hack into.
And so, I mean, it stood there empty for years, and it's now, I believe, used for the Ministry of Sport or something like it's
That's
sort of
so
like
funny.
Yeah, so there you go.
Genius. All right, so there you go. Australia's lamest squatter is out of the Big Brother house.
The Chaser Report. News you can't trust.
It's not great for The Voice, Charles. I mean, the national poll doesn't matter.
No.
I mean, you need a majority overall and a majority in
But
four of the six
I think
states.
it'll get that, won't it?
News poll, well, not if you believe the latest news poll. This is from Sunday.
Yes.
The no vote at 47%, the yes vote at 43%.
Yes.
So it's behind.
So can I tell you my genius plan for this?
What's your genius plan?
I think that they should, just before the vote happens, like maybe a day before, switch it round so that if you vote yes, it goes down, and if you vote no, it goes up.
That's a very good idea.
Yes.
Because people do automatically vote no.
Yeah,
don't
and
they?
then I don't think anyone's going to pay much attention because it's actually not going to have that much impact. Like it'll just mean that Indigenous people get to have a say on things that affect them, right? Like no one's going to care if it actually happens.
I mean, presumably Indigenous people would care quite a lot.
Well, but like, but
No, I take your point.
I'm saying,
this
like,
is the thing that's
no
been
one who's
lost.
voting against it is actually, like, the fear campaign is completely dishonest. So it's not like
It's,
it was
as
in-
we've said before, it's not at all radical, this proposal. I mean, even if whether you're for it or against it, it's very minor. It's about having a little consultative committee.
Yes. So
It's like a national PNC, basically.
Yes, but so because it doesn't actually have any formal powers. It's
No,
got
like the
influence.
principal, at our school, the principal sits down once a month with the PNC and listens to whatever all the parents have to say.
Yes.
She doesn't have to do it.
No.
Like, she just is there to be polite. It's basically being polite.
Yes.
That's
what
the case should be.
And that
the
is-
Voice, it's just fucking polite.
No, and I think that what is happening is Australians are starting to realise that that's what it is.
Oh, and that's why they don't like it.
That's why they don't like it.
Well, Charles, maybe there's a genius strategy in this.
Yes.
Because the amazing thing about the Yes campaign is that it hasn't started. And so maybe Albo's just miles ahead in reading the mood of the nation. And for months now, and Dutton, Sky, Telly, all the commentary, they've all been going, no.
Yes.
It's saturated. The no vote has had the only case for months now.
Yes.
No one's really saying yes. And maybe what they'll do is a week before, they'll suddenly come up with some brilliant arguments in favour of the Voice. And everyone will go, now we're paying attention. And the no will seem hackneyed and boring because we've already heard all of that stuff.
Okay.
Although that said, if the Voice goes down, you know who's going to bring it down. So it won't be Peter Dutton. It'll be Sky News. They are launching a 24/7 channel, and I'm not making this up, to cover the Voice referendum and nothing else, which I presume will mean endlessly replaying Rowan Dean satirical pieces on the Voice just 24/7. But what a bizarre idea.
But what does Chris Kenny think of that? He's
Well,
pro-Voice.
maybe they'll have balance for the first time in the history of Sky News.
Right.
How did Chris Kenny get away with being pro-Voice?
I don't know, but he's one of the most sensible commentators on the whole of in the whole of the sort
I
of thing.
must confess, just on general principle, I don't read Chris Kenny. Clearly, I'm making a terrible mistake.
I know.
But this is the whole point: is that it is designed. Julian Lisa helped make this theory up. It's designed for people who don't want dramatic change. I mean, they're trying to claim now that Thomas Mayo said it's the first step towards reparations. It's not. Julie and Lisa cut all that stuff out. It's just consultation.
Yeah, you can still vote yes and be a cunt to Aboriginal people.
You can still ignore them.
Yes, exactly. That's
like, in a way, it's ruder. Maybe this is the case that needs to be made.
Yes.
It's actually ruder to hear someone say their bit and ignore them.
Yes.
It's like, okay, we're going to pass a law affecting Indigenous people. Indigenous people, what do you think? Makes a reasonable objection.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's much worse.
Well, actually, Rio Tinto showed exactly how to do voice with their Dugong Gorge
that's right.
thing, which is what happened is in 2014, there was this sacred Aboriginal rock shelter in the Pilbara that had iron ore underneath it. And so what they did is they commissioned a report. They brought in the local elders. They wrote hundreds of pages of report.
Yeah.
The board of Rio Tinto then read those reports.
Yes.
And then they went out to the site and they stood in front of it and they blew it up. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and you're right. That's
much ruder.
It's much ruder, but that's exactly what the voice does. It's writing a 100-page report that can then be ignored.
Exactly.
Yes. So that's the case study that they should use. They should say, do you want more things like the Dugong Gorge?
So all that the yes is doing is bringing in the Rio Tinto model where you blow artifacts up, just that you know what you're doing. And if you're the kind of person that has absolute contempt for Indigenous people, I mean, why is this argument not being made?
I know. It would be a very popular argument.
If you have utter contempt for Indigenous people, if you don't want them to have special treatment, if you don't think that any of their culture should be respected in any way at all, get them to talk about the value of their culture, their continuous millennia-long culture, and then ignore them and blow the shit up anyway. That's an argument for yes. Does Peter Dutton know this, do you think?
Maybe he doesn't.
I think he's going to change his tune.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that we published in a shot, John Delmenico actually wrote an article on Friday about it, arguing that perhaps, maybe, just maybe, the master strategy that Albo, who I increasingly think of as the Baldrick of Australian politics, who always has cunning plans. Maybe, in fact, instead of not saying what the voice will be until after the referendum, is a little contemptuous of Australians. And maybe there is an argument to say, why don't we actually just put some flesh on the bones and say, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be 15 or 12 people or 15 people or 30 people, whatever it is, and they're all going to have staff and it'll cost $15 million a year or $20 million a year or whatever it is.
For a committee.
For a committee that can then, and they'll meet with the executive once a fortnight and they'll meet, with legislators as necessary, and that's how it'll work. Like, actually just give a sense of what it will be so that people can go, oh, well, that sounds completely reasonable.
I mean, this sounds exactly like a thing that I said on this podcast months ago and got laughed,
right?
Dismissed as being racist by you and Dave Miller. But this is maybe that's the plan. Maybe what he's going to do is a month before the referendum, come out, look, here's some thoughts. We haven't, the model's probably going to be, and then he'll start talking and everyone will get so incredibly bored that they'll go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe the flesh will come later in the piece.
Dom, you're a huge constitutional expert.
Sure.
Has there ever been a case in Australia where a proposal to change the referendum has polled this badly
to change
the constitution a few months out, and then it's been passed by a majority of states in a majority of people?
I can't recall one because the ones that have got enough have tended to be fairly uncontroversial. I mean, Albo said, I'm quoting him here now, he said, it's always easier in a referendum to put a no argument. That's why the success rate is something like 8 out of 48 referenda.
Yes.
But then he says, I'm very confident Australians will embrace the opportunity to say yes in the last quarter of this year. So he says, they always lose. It's easy for them to lose. Nevertheless, we're going to win. The two halves of the argument don't connect, but that's where Albo's at in his process. Yeah, they do always lose. However, this one, we will win. I don't know why. Maybe he has a cunning plan. Doesn't seem likely.
Well, Baldrick always had cunning plans, so...
Well, I mean, if Albo was as entertaining as Baldrick, I think that he'd probably be doing better. Anyway, no, it'll be interesting to see if the Yes campaign does come up with any actual reasons to vote yes rather than just sort of vibe.
Yes.
We've come up with several. It's polite to ask.
I think
And also it's more enjoyable for racists.
Okay, I think that's the killer argument. And I think
I've just solved the yes case. haven't I?
yes, I think we should contact Dee Madigan or someone like that and get her to
If
do
you
some
really
ads.
don't want to listen to Aboriginal people,
Yeah.
it's much better if they're speaking and you ignore them
Yes.
rather than that you just don't pay any attention at all.
Yes. Yep. Because it's less polite.
It's less polite.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
that's one. That's another problem solved on this podcast, Charles. A job well done.
Our gear is from Roe. We are part of the Iconoclast Network. For more stunningly cunning solutions, tune in tomorrow.
Indeed.